like, do you remember the time when you watched that porn? And my mind began to, like, it always starts with a thought, and it's like my mind went to it, yeah? And it's like, do you remember when you watched that porn?
Little black book, you know what time it is. 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 Time it is.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is, baby. Bang, bang. Bang, bang. Alright, listen, Shanda. We're here talking to you about Celibacy Journey. And we're 14 months in now, guys. And just kind of, just what, I wanted to talk about, obviously the title is I Had a Thought About Porn. So I wanted just to talk about a few things. I mean, just to let you know, guys, like, share, subscribe, and if you're new to the channel, we do talk about these issues quite a bit throughout the course of the year. So if you're interested in this, let me know. I'll do more videos on this, and it's not a problem at all. We'll talk more. So yeah, this is my talk about celibacy and just talking about I had a thought of porn. Now, if you guys have followed me, I've said I'm 14 months into my celibacy journey, and you know, I've been a Christian for the last 5 years. But you know what? In terms of dodging and not having no mistakes and no blocks against my name in that area of sexual activity, it's been 14 months. Cool. And so I was just just the other day, I was just in my room and the thought hit me. And you know what? Before I even get to that point, let me just say, if you're watching this, maybe you're 10 years into your celibacy, maybe you're 5 years, maybe you're a year, maybe you're 6 months, maybe you're 3 months, maybe you're a month, maybe you're just 1 day. Maybe today you chose to be celibate and you're watching this video. First of all, thank you for taking this course of action. And secondly, I pray that God, Jesus Christ, will reveal himself to you in this time and season, because celibacy is so important for your relationship with God, and to help you grow in that area. Cool. I am a Christian, by the way. So, just talking about celibacy, I was just in my room the other day, yeah, and I was sitting on my bed, and then my mind just suddenly went to, like, do you remember the time when you watched that porn? And my mind began to, like, it always starts with a thought, and it's like my mind went to it, yeah, and it's like, do you remember when you watched that porn? And then my mind almost started cycling through the things that I'd watched in the past. I was sitting there and I was like, yo, like, and at that point, before it starts cycling, you have a choice, yeah, whether to agree or to disagree, yeah, to accept this this next step or to disengage. I chose to accept it and allow it to continue playing in my head. So I kind of let the images flow in my head. I was like, wow, I remember this, I remember that, I watched that, and I was like, damn, that was bad, and I was just watching this and that and this and that. And a little thought came to me like, yeah, you should go back there, you know. And I was like, what? Hell no. You know, and I was like, nah, sorry, can't, nah. And I started picturing, look how far I've come. I want to go back to where I was. A dog wants to return to his vomit. Nah, can't be. I've gone so far. I was like, I better not say that, but I'd rather have sex with somebody else rather than go back to that pornography. That is just disgusting. And I was just like, look, I was just sitting there. And I was sitting there and I was like, but the thing also as well, I realized at that point, that's what the Bible says, that you are now slave to righteousness, not to sin. At that point in my head, I could feel the strength that I could say no to. I could say no to porn, or I could say yes to. Now, if I said yes to, I've allowed myself and tricked myself into believing I'm not strong. At that point in time and moment when I was having that thought in my head and I let it replay, then they asked me the question. Then it asked me a question in my mind, which was, "Oh, you're gonna watch porn now?" And I said, "No." I instantly said no, and I want you to get what I'm trying to say. I'm saying there are parts, process, and steps that lead you to a certain point. The reason why you're now watching porn, if you are watching porn, at the step that you're at right now, is because there's been steps and points you've led up to that point. And you've had a choice to make. And when you didn't make the correct choice, you moved on to the next step. When you didn't make the correct choice, you made the next step. Now, it may be a very short amount of time, because the weaker you are, the quicker the steps are to that point where you watch porn. But the stronger you are, the longer it takes to get to that step, because now you're now consciously aware of the steps that it's taken to get you to that point. Do you get what I'm saying? Cool. So, I was like I said, I was sitting in my bed. And then when it asked me that question, are you going to watch porn? And I said, no, I'm not. And I have every strength to say that because there's nothing for me there. I don't need anything in there. I don't want anything in there. My desire is not for that anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I was strengthened by it. I said, thank you, God. And by the strength of God, I've continued in my day, left it. Now I didn't think about it again. But what it did make me think about was the fact that God will allow certain things like that to happen to you so that you can become aware that you're still battling. And when I say still battling, I mean that you must never get to a point where you think you've done it. Because when it comes to sexual sin, because we are prone to sexual sin, yeah, you must get yourself to a place where you say, I can never be comfortable thinking that I'm cool with this particular appetite for sexual sin. Because our nature is to enjoy sex anyway. It's not illegal, it's not bad. God wants us to have sex in the confinements of marriage. But because something is sexual in its nature, and because you're in flesh, it will want to do what God doesn't want you to do. That's what the Bible says, you war against spirit and flesh. Now, when you're in the midst of when God has given you the strength and you've been delivered from pornography and stuff like sexual sins and stuff like that, you have to get to a point of realizing that this thing may never go away. When I say go away, I mean it will always be lurking somewhere close to you. You know what I'm saying? And I realize this because I'm somebody as well, like, okay, like for instance, something like cheating. If you cheated in the past before, you can never be comfortable in certain situations because cheating is creeping at your door. The same way the Bible says that, Cain, be careful, sin is crouching at your door. You are predisposed with this flesh to do certain actions. There's certain things that speak to you. If you've been a thief before, you have to be very careful because actually you could easily be a thief again. It's crouching at your door. If you were a slanderer, you were a swearer, if you were somebody who was always angry, you got to be careful because that sin is crouching at the door because it's never gone away. It's gone to and fro, seeking to and fro for a place to stay, but it comes back saying, we couldn't find a place like you. No place like home, no place like home, no place like home. And so it crouches at the door. So never get comfortable. That's the whole point. Never get comfortable. Understand that you're always in warfare. Because the moment you drop your guard is when the sin starts to crouch at your door. And so as I was sitting there, God was talking to me about this. Like, look, you know, this thing ain't going to go away. This is you in a constant battle. And you must always stay strong. Now, I don't really think about porn like that. I don't. It doesn't come across my mind anymore. It's like, it's none of void. It's a bit like having an ex-girlfriend. And, you know, you don't really think about your ex-girlfriend. But once in a while, it may pop up in your head as ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend has popped up into your head. And you reminisce about the times you were together. But you don't go there and call your girlfriend, do you? Or ex-girlfriend. You don't. You know what I'm saying? So, in the same fashion and manner, I don't then go back to my vomit that I left. Okay, yes, the thought came to my head. And I probably should have just closed it down immediately as it came. But I didn't. I entertained it a little bit. But when it asks you, are you going to go now and do it? You cancel. You should really cancel at the point that the thought comes to you and cancel it straight away. But if you haven't, at the point when it asks you to go and do this thing, cancel. It is the thought that leads to the action, not the other way around. It is the thought that leads to the action. So if you can cancel the thought, you can cancel the action. So yeah, for me, obviously, like I had a thought and I was just thinking to myself, like, I've been 14 months clear. And I know some of you are probably thinking, I've been 3 months clear or 2 months clear or a year clear or 2 months clear. And it may not be pornography, it might be sex. I've been clear with this. But guess what? Be on guard. The Bible says be sober because the enemy that you're facing is roaming to and fro, seeking for whom he may devour. Be sober because we are not ignorant of his devices. You are not ignorant of what tricks are coming your way. In 2019, you are not ignorant of the tricks that will be played on you in order to make you go back to your vomit. You know already that he's coming for the mind. You know already he's going to play a video in your head. You already know he's going to say, do you want to do it? And at that point, you cancel. You cancel and say, I am not going anywhere there. I refuse. Do you get me? And even if you fall, you get back up again. And you set that guard up. And you know, the Bible says that that our weapons of warfare are not carnal, for they are mighty for the pulling down of strongholds and against any vain imaginations of Christ, right, or the gospel. And so I realize is that if there are strongholds that try to fight so that you don't get the message of Christ. There must be strongholds that are also good, that are set up to make sure that you don't fall again. You know what I'm saying? Which we call boundaries. And these are the most difficult ones because this is not a physical boundary, it's a mental boundary. And you know, I've only come, like I said, I'm only 14 months into the celibacy, but already I understand that setting up a mental boundary, like I keep telling you in other videos, scroll past the video, you've seen something, and do you know what it was? I think, I'm going to be blatantly honest, I remember like last few weeks I've been on Twitter and I've not scrolled quick enough. Let me be honest. I like to be honest. I don't like to lie. I like to be so honest because I feel like the body of Christ needs it. I know that when I see a video and I may even see a little bit of nakedness, and I'll be like, I will just look at it for a second or two and I'll be like, what am I watching? Move on. And that second or two was confirmation, was acceptance. It's a problem because once it's seen, it can't be unseen. But guess what? It rents space in your mind, and then you only need to watch watch another video where it's got a bit of sultriness, a bit of sexiness, and it connects to that old one. It connects to another video that you've had in your head, and maybe a third one or a fourth one. And when you don't cancel these things, and when you don't protect your mind from seeing certain things, guess what? It's going to affect you because subconsciously the video's gone into your mind. Do you understand? So for me, everything about it's like I said, steps and processes. You may not know how you got there, but you got to work it back. How did I get here? What was I watching and reading before then? Because there were steps that got you to that point that let your mind be weak when it came to a time to say no. Do you see what I'm saying? There were steps to that point. You know what I'm saying? Added to that, how was your relationship with God going at the time? Are you praying? Are you reading your word? Because you'll probably see there was a lapse of reading your word and prayer in that aspect and worshipping God and staying in His presence that contributed to the point that you felt weak. That is where 90% of why people fall. There's a lapse in there of the word. There's a lapse in there of prayer. There's a lapse in there of being in God's presence, and therefore the enemy takes advantage. Because in that state of mind, your strength of your spirit is overridden by your flesh because it's been eaten well. You get me? Yeah. And just to say, you know what, like, because it's been 14 months, you know, God allows us to be tested so that we can be refined. Do you get me? He allows us to be tested so that we can be refined. He wants to refine us like gold. So when you're going through a battle, when you feel like you're going through a battle, remember, even if you fall, this is God refining you. This is the sanctification process. Get back up. Yeah, keep moving forward. Yeah, you're doing 2 months or 3 months and he fell again. Okay, let's get back up again. Let's start the journey again. You know what I'm saying? Do not give up. You have to keep on pressing towards that mark. So for me, like, yeah, it's been crazy because when I sat there and I had that thought and I cancelled, I said no. I started laughing. I was like, devil, no, I'm not in that space no more. You know, and I felt excited. I felt proud. I felt like, yo, gee, we're doing bits. You know what I'm saying? Like now, I know definitely I'm not about that life no more. You know what I'm saying? So that's not to say that you become arrogant and prideful and saying, oh, I've overcome it now, so I don't need to worry. No, you need to worry. The worry is that you stay on guard. That you know that at any minute, this is your weakness. It could happen to you. You could fall. Once you know it's your weakness, you know that the way you behave has to be different. You have to cartel your behaviors. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, it's mad on that aspect really, and so yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, man. Much love and appreciation, guys. You know, we're here to give you a little something. This is my celibacy journey. I really appreciate and hope that, listen, guys, you are blessed by this. And like I said, don't let no one condemn you. The Bible says, for them that walk after the Spirit, there is no condemnation. So yes, there are going to be times where you may fall, but let nobody condemn you. You are trying to walk with God. And at that moment, when you're facing a trouble, yes, you face the trouble. You may have lost that battle, but you're not going to lose the war because the war's already won. So therefore, you're going to overcome. You know what I'm saying? That's how you have to look at the situation. So yeah, my celibacy journey, I'm really enjoying it. And, you know, I'm just trying to press towards that mark, man. Like I really am. So yeah, guys, I really appreciate it. Stay locked and loaded. Stay blessed. And know that, listen, guys, like, share, subscribe. Are you maddy lean? Shake 'em and bake 'em. Woo! Shake 'em and bake 'em. Okay.